Hello and welcome to another episode of Casual Master Quest. This is episode 76. I'm your host for the episode, Nick, and I'm joined by my lovely co-hosts, Tyler and Glenn. What's going on, guys?
I'm going on. Glenn, are you going on?
Always. But I don't know if I'm ever going
Glenn's
on
going on.
as much as you are right now.
What are you talking about? I'm fine.
There's a reason I don't touch energy drinks. There's a very, unless I'm out and I'm dancing and I'm taking Jaeger bombs, I don't touch energy drinks.
Jaeger bombs are the worst way to take energy drinks.
Exactly, so if I'm gonna do it, I might as well do it the worst way and then not do it again for a few months.
That's an upper and a downer at the same time.
That's actually the only reason I stay awake until I get on the night bus and then I fall asleep.
And you can quote me on the interwebs. I believe exactly 1 week ago I said I was never going to touch these suckers again after, well, no, I said specifically not to drink 2 of them ever again, but I definitely had to keep away from those suckers. And right now in Casual Master Quest episode 76, we're going to witness a documentary about what happens if you overdose on Monster Energy drink.
You're just going to crash so hard and I'm so excited, baby. Let's go.
Have you seen that video?
Glenn, how's your week been?
Oh, great. Just in and out of trying to get out of this lingering crap that I have going on. I was even on
oh, wow.
Amanda was like,
did you not wipe?
Sick? Yeah, well, man. Well, we have had a problem with that recently. Not me specifically, just our dumb pipes, because our landlady loves original things, and so even the ceramic pipes from the 50s are not, you don't have to replace them until they are actually broken. And so we've had a lot of problems with our system getting backed up because there's like roots growing in our pipes and everything. So that's been fun, but also just finally getting over sickness.
If they're dumb pipes, like, I guess you'd have to update them to, like, at least 2012 standards. Do they need, like, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth at that point?
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, you throw Bluetooth on anything and somebody will buy it. It can be on the most mundane thing and then people will still buy it. Bluetooth pipe. Now you can track the amount of whatever flowing through per minute and per hour and get all the statistics.
Bluetooth water bottle. How cold's your water?
I'm in.
Actually, I'm in on the water bottle thing. I'm not even joking. That would be nice to know.
Because then you know
like
exactly
a thermostat.
You like it. You know, I like my
thermostat
water at 65.2
that has like a color sensor thing that shows you like how hot is your coffee still in the thermostat. So if you notice it's getting lower, you can like, oh shoot, maybe not. I'm not going to throw this metal thermostat into a microwave and heat it up because that's a great idea. But maybe drink it a little bit faster.
Yeah, and as Nick in the chat said, and then people hack your pipes and restart the Wet Bandits' reign of terror.
This my God!
But no,
bring Joe Pesci back for another Home Alone remake, but it's just a remake about them getting out of jail. Return of the Wild.
There's a Bluetooth mug thing that it's a smart mug, so it comes with an electronic coaster. Not from it's called Ember.
Starbucks
I think
has one. Yeah,
it's called Ember. So it comes with a coaster, and you can set the temperature, and so you can put your mug on, and it'll keep it at that temperature.
Yep, that's pretty great. It's actually really cool. I mean, even my weed vape has a Bluetooth thing where I can change the temperature of the vape from my phone.
That's really cool.
That's nifty as shit, actually.
Yeah, that's pretty
dope. When I think of advancements in technology and like these silly fronts, I think the simplest but most appreciative one is Tile. Have you guys ever messed with Tile before?
Oh, is it the one where you like hook it onto things and it'll tell you where its location is?
Yeah, like a keychain kind of thing.
Yeah,
I put it on my turtle if I had one.
You just set your turtle free, or like?
I think I saw an ad for it. It was like, never lose your turtle again. And it's just like, they had it stuck on a turtle shell.
Oh,
never
okay.
Lose their turtle.
I thought this was like an updated quote. If you love it, set it free. If it comes back, it loves you. If it doesn't, track it down. Or some shit like that.
That's pretty cool.
Alright, so, just in and out of sickness, Glenn?
Oh, yeah. It's been kind of junky. The wife has been suffering as well, but obviously it's a little harder for her to say, I want to take time off because she has a real job. I can just say I'm not streaming today. Like yesterday, I was on the tail end of it and I was like, I could stream or I could really just veg today and just not talk and drink a bunch of water. And it really seems to have helped, but like I'm still, it's never a fever, just always everything else. So,
right.
Finally getting better though. So that's good. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Over my end, my week has been a bit of a standstill in terms of anything crazy going on my end. Just prepping up for Christmas, Thanksgiving. It's kind of disgusting knowing that I'm doing Christmas stuff before Thanksgiving. It almost feels forbidden in my head anyways, but I want to be ahead of the curve and just get shit done.
Well, I mean, we're at the point where if you're just trying to get ready and prep for it at this point of the month, I feel like that's okay. But then if you were doing this at like the start of the month, I'm like, all right, buddy, calm down.
I think just the logic is a lot of shit's gonna like go into the fray with Black Friday and all that stuff that's gonna be happening this week. And I know if I try to base my gift ideas off of that kind of stuff, it means I'm gonna have to do legit work to actually, you know, fend people off with brooms and all that. And so the idea that I'm just doing it a couple of weeks early, well, not even a couple of weeks, a single week early in my head is, you know, just making my life a little bit easier. And, other than that, though, it's been a good standard week. Had a snow squall up here in Michigan, which essentially just means blind out conditions and all that stuff. It was frightening, not that bad. I'm a truck driver that's seasoned, so I, you know, got through it. And it only took 2 years of my life away. So yeah, that's been my week.
It's not a bad trade-off. At least you're still here for, you know, minus the 2 years.
Right. What about you, Nick?
I've had a stressful week. Not gonna bore anybody on the details of school, but two things happened. There was a point where I learned about specific graduation requirements, and it scared me because it meant that it would throw off all my plans and I wouldn't be able to graduate next semester. But then I learned that it was policy that was instituted last year, and because I joined the program the year before, it doesn't apply to me because I'm basically being grandfathered into the graduation requirements, so I don't have to worry about it. But it was still a stressful like 24 hours. And then what else happened? Oh yeah, there was one course that is the only course in a while that broke me down to the point where now I have a pretty bad neck and back pains.
Oh jeez.
And I'm not like doing anything physical, like the just pure stress, the sheer stress from the course has made me like my neck hurt. I can't like move my neck properly in either direction. I can't like move my arms properly because if I lift them too high, it'll just send like twangs of pain down my back and up my neck. So either I've been sleeping wrong, or purely is just stress, or it's all in my head, kind of like a placebo kind of thing. So the moment school is done, I'm off to a chiropractor. Yeah.
Okay, good. I was like, because, you know, sometimes my wife also gets stressed out and, you know, we don't go to the chiropractor, so I try to do it. But she's afraid I'm going to rip her neck off like a, you know, Mortal Kombat move or something. And, you know what? 50-50. So, you know, I kind of respect that.
I mean, sometimes you just got to live life on the edge and just take a little bit of a risk. But yeah, no, it's nice because our school has a clinic, like in the school, and there's a in-clinic chiropractor. And so we get a discount because we're students of the school. So I'm going to be setting up an appointment with them sometime next week. This
must be like a milk situation for me. You were because I thought you were saying Kleenex, and I'm like clinic. Yeah.
I
never heard clinic before.
There's certain things that Indians pronounce that I've just carried forward. Like when we say,
it's like we live in different countries, so I'm not gonna give you shit for it.
No, I know. It's just again, these are things that unless people point out that I don't think about. Like when we
trust me, I understand.
When we like if you're moving, Indians like to use the word shifting, where we're shifting, and it makes sense to me, but to a lot of people it doesn't make sense because if you were just talking to like, you know, like an Indian family, like just like they're from India but now they're living wherever you are, and they're like, hey, how's it going? Oh, we just shifted here. And we're like, what'd you shift? You know?
Look at me.
Or they call sunglasses cooling glasses.
Oh,
because which makes sense.
Checks out.
Because semantically it makes sense. But it's weird.
Semantically.
Yeah, because it keeps your face cool essentially to some part of it. But then
what is the Canadian equivalent term for a garage?
A garage?
Okay. I just remember I guess the garages, they call them something else over in Canada, so I wasn't sure. Maybe.
Before we move on to the games we played, because the car house, before we move on to games we played, the one last thing that I can think of that I just thought of, but then I forgot immediately, so that's not fun.
My bad. I'm sorry.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, the trunk of a car. in India, and I think this was British slang as well. We called them dickies.
Those are pants.
So,
sorry. I think of when I think of Dickies is the brand Dickies, which normally make pants.
Fair.
Just because I'm remembering it now and I'm gonna forget it in like 30 seconds. I said I was confused by British terms with Pokemon last week. I know we'll talk about it later. One of the terms I named off was, I think, like dickwag or something like that. And it's like, I saw it again. Sonia said it is called a chinwag. And that messed with me because I have no idea what the fuck a chinwag is.
Is it like disapproval?
What's up?
Is it like disapproval? Like a look of disapproval?
Oh, God, thanks for having a chinwag with me.
It's a chat. It's a long and pleasant conversation between friends. A chinwag.
Well, good thing I wasn't having a chinwag with her, because her and I are not friends. She's very assumptive. Anyways,
So, we are a video game podcast.
We're having chinwags, Glenn.
Let's start off with you, Tyler. We'll put aside Pokemon, because we're going to talk about that. Have you been playing anything else apart from Pokemon?
You know, I would like to say yes, but that would be a lie. I have not played. I could tell you one other game I played if you really want to know, but I'm not sure if I should say it. You're the host. I'll give you the go ahead.
I don't know. Just tell me what game you've been playing.
Cool. So it starts off with there was an Ask Me Anything on Reddit, and I'm looking at it. I was like, okay, let me ask people inane questions. And there was one where from all the people over on Nataku, which is a popular website playing adult Flash and other hentai games. And so I got to play a game called FAP CEO. It was some kind of clicker game.
FAP?
Yep.
Tyler, I am livid. In this month of November, the holy month of No Nut November, you played a game known as FAP CEO. What do you have to say for yourself?
It was like going into a movie theater on Christmas Day.
Gross.
the servers were completely empty. So how's that work?
No.
Oh,
CEOs.
because you're the CEO.
Yeah. Maybe the boss, but my God,
just lives.
Lead by example.
He was definitely leading by example.
Is that a work environment that he wants to see happening? He's just walking out of there. Oh, how's it going, Karen? You enjoying that? What the hell? Sorry, it feels a little odd.
No, it is. If you have to play HR in FAP CEO, I feel like that would be worse than Dark Souls.
You'd have a fucking field day.
Yeah.
Just paperwork for days.
Yeah, I mean, I played it just because, I was bored. And, they were talking about how they wanted to put $10 million or something like that into improving, game developments for their website. And I'm like, what fucking games do they have? And I click, I'm like, oh, okay. And so I clicked the first game I saw, and I was like, well, cool, numbers are going up. Oh, I got an email from my oh my God. And it's like, okay, yeah.
His secretary, folks. That's what he meant to say. His secretary. I
said well, okay, I heard the
words together.
Secretary. But yeah, secretary. So, yeah, Nutaku, if you want to...
You want to get your nut on, folks.
Is that Kotaku? But, okay, got it. I'm there.
Like otaku, except you're nutting, I guess.
Yeah.
So... It's an interesting website. Their main bragging point is, we can download games right off of onto your phone. Like, one of the quotes from the CEO is, think of us like the Steam of the adult game, nationwide or some shit like that. And it's like, cool. That's fair. Anyways, nice. I'm closing that floodgate if I can.
All right, Glenn, tell me about some of the other games you've been playing.
Back into the ground.
What a terrifying floodgate it is. I've been playing Modern Warfare. I haven't played Modern Warfare or any of the Call of Duty games since Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, which ironically enough just recently got a remaster, and then they released Modern Warfare, which was technically the predecessor to Modern Warfare 2 originally, but is not a remake. My brain. But it was one of those things where when I got the Switch, I got it used the day after it came out. ready for that. Used the day after it came out. But it's fun. It's a good game. I just need to play it more. And then also, finally getting to do some interesting things in WoW. Getting to do Onyxia, Molten Core. I haven't done Molten Core yet. And I've done every dungeon at least once. But trying to grind for money to get my epic mount. I've got about 700 gold, so I'm just close-ish to the end.
Getting there.
But
I just realized that the 100 gold's for the 60% mount, isn't it?
yeah, it's 900 for the other one.
Oh man, so just for the extra 40% movement speed, you gotta, oh my gosh.
Yeah, and if you're a paladin, all you gotta do is get some Strathholm holy water. Sorry. Also, because they also get a free mount at level 40. You're a paladin?
I know, Tyler, this sounds like
free mount.
This sounds like a little bit of class envy, Tyler. What do you think?
I mean, if I really was gonna play World of Warcraft back in the day, I would have gone paladin too. Problem is though,
would have done mage if I knew all the crap that goes on.
Paladins were technically a newer class, if you will, compared to the rest of them, like pre-development and all that. Yeah, paladins get all the cool shit for free, pretty much, but they're shit at every class.
Well, but the thing about it is I've watched a paladin solo a boss because they can heal themselves, wear plate armor, and deal shit tons of damage depending on what they want to do. So their flexibility is insane, especially now that they've had time to kind of hone the class. But like, man. But
and
also
I
going on now,
that.
They just released PvP, and so the world, depending on the server you're in, is real rough. I think right now it's 65-35 in favor of the Horde as far as population goes on my server. And so questing is actually impossible. For the most part, the Horde are camping every single boat spot, every single flight path, every single village. They've got somebody there fucking it up. They've even invaded Ironforge and Stormwind multiple times and just like sit there, and they just even killing the train in Tinkertown. So like sometimes you literally just have to be in Ironforge. I need to go to Kalimdor. I have to pay a gold to have a priest port me or a mage port me over there and hope that nobody's camping the flight path in Darnassus. It's happened before. So it's a little hard to quest right now, but it's fine.
Glenn, I will pause Pokemon and everything if you want. I'm just saying. You're putting your toe right into the deep end, but if you want to go to the kiddie pool and splash the water with me over in retail.
I mean, splash in the kiddie pool? This is so hard! Let's go to the kiddie pool.
I mean, let's be real. Classic is the deep end. This is, the hardcore, straight nitty gritty stuff. You're gonna really walk in with your little floaty things, and that bully comes up and pops them, going yeah, and you just get shoved in, and then Onyxia just dunks you right in the pool. Or you can go with the little water noodles, the easy fill squirt guns. We're just gonna have a good time.
Well, you don't even need the floaties. The water's not even deep enough for you to go underneath it. But just in case.
It makes you feel safe. Yeah, just in case. I mean, what happens if you tried to do a backflip and then you smash your head against the bottom, then you get stuck? It's like,
well, honestly, I think more than going to retail, I would rather make a new character on a PvE server in Classic.
Yes.
That would be a lot more interesting to me.
Yeah, big brain right there. Look at you, Glenn.
Yeah. No, but it's good. I like WoW. It's a really, really fun game. It's so funny how people start to gain reputation on your server. So when I see somebody from a certain guild or somebody that I've run with before, I have preconceived notions. I've never met these people, but I'm like, that fucker, he left us at the boss in, Stratton Undead because he had to go. And I was like, dude, it takes 2 minutes to kill Baron Rivendare. And he was just like, no, man, I gotta go. Took us 2 hours to get here because you're dumbass. You were a bad healer. Anyway, so like people gain reps, and I wonder what people think of me. So like, I don't know. It's fun. I like the game. I'll leave it there.
Man, I'm trying to think. I know my wife's gonna beat me to it, but maybe one of you guys can beat her to it. I believe it's from the movie Mean Girls, where they have a book, like a shit list of sorts, for people.
Oh, what is that called?
Do you know what I'm talking about? Or?
I mean, I watched that movie pretty significantly because it came out when I was high school. My name is Glenn. So
Amanda beat us to it. It's called The Burn Book.
The Burn Book. God.
So I was just imagining there's a server-wide burn book that people can add to.
Oh, you ninja something on Onyxia, they're just gonna say fuck them. Yeah.
It had +2 agility, even though it had +8 strength, and he still needed it over me, the rogue. Huh.
MCOC. That's all that matters if you're on a raid. And what that means is, you know what that means, right?
No. NCO?
MCOC. Or MSOS. MSOS. MS is greater than OS. It's just anytime they post the thing, it'll be MS with the greater than symbol, the alligator eating the MS. And that's how I remember it. Math. And
main?
Yeah, it's main spec over off spec. So yeah, like, you know, if you're a paladin who sometimes DPSs, but you're a melee paladin that heals with a shield, that's main spec. So like there was an Onyxia run where this guy was like, no, but that thing, it's a really good offhand weapon. I could use that. They're like, dude, that's your off spec. You are a main spec paladin with a shield. You don't get to choose to roll on that. So
I'm going to pull up my alternative weapon, the Rattler. I'm going to cry about it.
Oh my god. I saw the orange weapon.
Hand of Rag?
Sulfuris. Yeah. I saw somebody with Sulfuris the other day. Oh my god.
Were they Alliance or were they Horde?
They were Alliance, and they stole my fucking rich thorium vein. And I was like, seriously, dude? I inspected him. He had everything best in slot, all raid gear. And if it wasn't raid gear, it was best in slot, you know, Fury Warrior stuff. And I was like, and then you take my rich thorium vein? I've gotten one arcane crystal, you asshat. Let me at least hit it. So, anyway, we got an Eye of Shadow. I can't complain.
It's a public ore. Whoever gets to it first gets it.
I was standing next to it fighting an ad, and it was obvious that I was placing myself next to it on purpose. So the good thing to do, the courteous thing, if it's another Alliance member, is to hit it once and then leave it, so that they can hit it once, because it's obvious that they wouldn't be positioning themselves there if they weren't also looking for it. That's the courtesy
doesn't exist online.
Listen, I watched the
It's unfortunate. I'm not about to tell you to like get good or anything, but then that's just like it's a frustrating reality.
Yeah,
it's like courtesy and chivalry don't exist. Yeah,
it's okay. I did Strat Live last night and I won the rolls on 3 of the righteous orbs, so I couldn't get too mad.
Those are pretty expensive, especially because I'm pretty sure you need those for the Crusader buff.
Yep, it's only 2, and I've got 4 now, so I can put the mats down for me and my tanks enchantments for whenever we get our BIS weapons.
Nice.
So the crazy thing about that in retail anyways is that's a crazy good buff that I believe it doesn't actually have a level limit on what level weapon you put it on.
Oh.
So the idea was if you were to buy what was called a heirloom gear, which is something that's scaled up with you by level. So let's say level 1 through 60, it'll be whatever level you are. You would take what is a level 55-60 buff and put it on a level 1 weapon that would go up with you, and you would just nuke all sorts kind of damage at level 1.
Huh.
And it was glorious.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
Problem is, though, since it's a vanilla spell or enchantment, it was hard to find somebody that had it.
Oh.
And so, not to mention, getting the Crusader orbs were ungodly expensive for somebody who just started.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not sure how much they are nowadays, but to me, they were like 25 gold a piece.
Yeah, it's server, and I think right now they're about 30 on my server to each, so. Which is really tempting to sell them, because I want my epic mount, and I'm only 250 gold away. And that, if I sold all 4 of them, that's 160 gold. I'm less than 100 away, but I'm like, save it, just save it.
Nick's doing the hardcore nod like, too. I understand everything that's going on here, yep.
I understand most things. I was watching one of my favorite streamers grind out to get the Hand of Rag, and it was like a server, like his guild-wide effort to make him get like server first Hand of Rag. And so looking at prices, I think they were selling at one point Devil's Source leather. And so he was just farming that area, Ungoro, I guess it's called.
Ugh. Yeah, Ungoro Crater. Mm-hmm.
But then he'd have like people roll with him so that they could just fuck up any alliance that walk through the area, because they're like, no, this is my farming spot. He's a horde? Yeah.
Oh, good. Another horde player that camps things like Devil Sars. What a classy dude.
Yeah, I mean, how dare he put the opposite faction that I picked?
Sorry.
They should only have one.
I want to play
I understand the frustration.
Faction alliance.
Don't worry.
I want to play PvE real bad.
I get petty like that. I can't remember. I think it was the mining story. And then it reminded me of in Destiny where before it used to be in PvP, you'd have to pick up heavy ammo and you'd only get it. And I was waiting. I was waiting there for 3 seconds. Now, like, if you're in the area, your whole team gets it, but you have like 6 seconds to get to it. They changed it a little bit. But anyways, I was waiting the area trying to pick it up, and then a fucking Titan comes and on my team, shoulder bashes me out of the way just as it spawned, and he picked it up. And he was running like a linear fusion rifle, which is just like a heavy sniper rifle, and it just one-shots. I stood in front of him the entire time. He wasted all of his shots. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm such an old Destiny player. Like,
we lost the game, but I don't care.
I haven't played since the Forsaken expansion on Destiny 2.
No.
But like, I still, like, one of my favorite heavy weapon was Galahorn, man. I love that weapon.
I feel like this speaks a lot of your character in both a good and bad way, Nickel.
Who's that?
Who?
Huh? Who?
Did I say it wrong this time?
No, you said my name. I'm not used to that. Please.
Oh. Unless you're in trouble.
I mean, you can call me whatever you want. I was just messing with you. I'm okay.
All right,
it's
George.
funny because I usually say Nickel, but then I said finally for the first time in my entire life, I said it like you told me to pronounce it, Nickel, and
I just think of a little half
the
dime.
coin. Yeah, it's Nikhil, but then most people are not used to pronouncing Indian names. Put too much emphasis on the H and like the ch, or like Nikhil.
Starts sounding
no, it's
like
not
Jewish.
Yeah, it sounds very. It's like Arabic as well. Like it's just something that mixes in, and I'm like, just relax, calm down. It's not that glottal. It's not. It's just like just it's easy.
It's like an airiness. Can you say it?
Just
like you intentionally drink milk so you can develop a little phlegm in the back.
Yeah, it's just Nikhil.
Nikhil.
Yeah, but just again, like just to make it easier,
fine.
just Nick
I'm
or
Penny and
like
he's Dime. Are you happy?
Yeah, sure.
Can I be half, Dola? Oh, I'm so sad.
Anyways, Tyler, you were saying.
Speaks a lot of your character, Nick. Dodge that bullet. Dodge! So, we all universally know that at times, depending on the situation, you can get petty, but at the same time, you have such a vindictive sense of justice to right a wrong on your own terms that, like, in video games, it's hilarious.
Yeah, I don't care.
I love it when you're like,
I'll just track them down.
Doing it. This.
Yep. It's the same way when
it's
like when I'm driving and somebody cuts into my lane with not enough space and no indicator. I will do my best to get around in front of them and then slow down to 20 below the speed limit.
Mm-hmm.
And then the moment they change lane and try to speed up, I'll go faster than them.
Yep. I feel that.
Most of the time I get screwed over. I'm in the truck, so I legally can't say what I think I want to do. So,
right, that's another thing. I don't fuck with trucks because A, my car is tiny and they'll fuck me over. B, they don't have many brakes and they take a lot longer to stop. So I put at least 7 cars before I cut into the lane in front of a truck.
I mean, we technically have 8 times more brakes than a car does. It's just on a ratio.
Sorry, yeah, it's just the weight.
On a ratio, we are way heavier on our brakes than anybody else.
It's the weight, not the number of brakes. Yeah.
I wish everybody thought that. We're entirely veering off, but if there's one thing that boggles my mind is when it's a bad night, people would rather be in front of me than behind me. And I understand the logic is maybe they want increased invisibility. They want greater invisibility so they can attack with advantage without, losing the spell effect. But they want to be able to see because I kick up spray or something.
Yep.
But at the same time, if you're going to get right in front of me and then slow down, you realize that if I can't stop in time, you're going to have much more than just visibility because you're going to see the hell out of my headlights going into your bumper kind of situation. And it's like, what can you tell?
More like on your back seat.
So on with me, apart from Pokemon, I've been playing Town of Salem. I played a little bit. I didn't play a lot. My group that I usually play Deceit with, we got tired of Deceit because it just turned us into like a toxic group. Like we just hated each other, and so we Deceit comes and goes in phases because the game's about lying and blaming each other and figuring out who's who. And Town of Salem is like that, but not to that extent because you do it mostly through text. Because we even have a rule.
Did you text or talk?
Like a mixture of the two, like our rules. Same thing with Deceit, because we're all in Discord. If somebody dies, the moment you're dead, you're not allowed to speak. So the same thing in Town of Salem. The moment you die, you just don't say anything, and you just stick to the chat. So that way we avoid as much metagaming as possible, unless, you know, it's one of those rounds where we know that the 3 of us in like the group of 10 we were last night are like all mafia. And so we'll just metagame the shit out of it and screw our friends over. So we'll do fun things like that. For the most part though, the rule is if you're dead, you don't speak. Just not to like give the fun away too much. Right. But it was interesting hearing a few, because I think about half the group had never played Town of Salem before, so it was just a shit show from the start in terms of like who's doing what, and the people who knew how to play just finessed the shit out of everybody and just ended up winning the game each round. But it was a fun time. We were just going through like a new game, and I think the next one they want to pick up is Throne of Lies, which is like Deceit in Town of Salem, but it's like an RPG version, kind of. It's like, it's more like nuanced in like the political systems, so it's interesting.
The whole thing that stemmed from like well, first off, Glenn, have you ever played Town of Salem?
No, I played Mafia with cards in my living room.
Okay, so you know, you got the general idea what, you know,
yeah,
it is.
Or that Spyfall is a good one, good party game.
Sure.
They play it on a YouTube channel I watch, but it's basically, there's a spy. They have to guess a location, but you have to ask each other questions, not knowing who the spy is. And they have to deduce based on your questions, but also ask questions that don't give them away as the spy, as they try and figure out what the location is based on your questions and answers. Anyway, sorry.
So, does the name of this game sound familiar to either of you, called Space Station 13?
No. Negative.
Okay. Like, before I ever discovered, you know, Mafia or Town of Salem or anything like that with the whodunit, you know, who's a good guy, who's a bad guy game, there's a game called Space Station 13 that I tried playing. The problem is, though, it's a similar mindset where each, you know, person that joins the server is given a role as they perform their opportunities, or, their, you know, their responsibilities. Thank you to me for correcting myself.
You're welcome.
The problem is, though, joining it was janky as fuck. Like, if you thought Deceit was bad in terms of getting stuff set up, like, this was running off of its own X-file kind of bad. And just joining a separate server and again thrown on to this, like, 8-bit style thing where you're walking along a space station trying to do stuff, and you tried to roleplay it out, and, like, watching people play it was wonderful, but playing it by itself was god-awful. Mm-hmm. Anyways, I just want to give a shout out to that game before I put it into the dirt for the rest of its days. Anyways.
Alright, so we're finally going to move on to Pokemon. We've all had a little bit more time with Pokemon. Let's try not to go too overboard with it.
So only an hour and a half this time?
Overboard with what?
So who wants to... How's everybody... How are you guys feeling about Pokemon now, after a week with it or so?
I'm about 24 hours in.
I'm actually about the same.
Really?
Yeah. I haven't touched it since... What is it? We're recording on a Saturday. This comes out on a Monday. So for those of you listening, I haven't touched Pokemon in a week.
That's deeply concerning, considering I'm pretty sure I played with you throughout the week, Nick. No, was it during the weekend I played with you?
Yeah, it might have been. I think it was last week following recording. Glenn, how long have you put in Pokemon?
Just 35 hours.
Nice.
Oh.
I forgot yesterday part of what I did to kind of help myself relax. I woke up at like 8 or 9. I technically woke up at 5:45 and then went, nah, I'm not going to the gym because I still feel a bit junky. And then I went to sleep until about 8:30, 9 o'clock. And then I turned this on and I had an edible and it lasted for a really long time. And I just played Pokemon from 9 in the morning until about 7 or 8 o'clock at night, to a point where I literally, like, the charge went bad and I was like, I can find an outlet. And then I realized that the charger for the controller that you guys got me, that CMQ was, or sorry, Tyler was so kind to help me get, same charger. So I was able to just like lay on the couch and just like, I moved to pee and eat and play this game. It even got to a point where I like let it lean up against my legs and I pulled the controller out anyway. But
nice.
So how are you feeling about the game?
I love it. It. Just completed that village that doesn't have Dynamaxing.
Okay.
Spikemuth, yeah. That was interesting. And I just came back to Hammerlock and I'm supposed to challenge the dragon guy. But we'll see what happens.
Right on.
It definitely feels like, I think one thing I do miss a little bit is a little bit of what I got in some of the later areas, but early ones, aside from the wild area, were just kind of like, walk this road, you go to this place, done. You know, like the mushroom town. There was like little to nothing in that area, except for one area where you were looking for stuff, and I was like, I miss like wandering through places. I miss not being able to see every turn, because you just go through it so fast.
That's what I was thinking as well, going through the game. I'm like, this is disappointing in terms of size, except for the cities.
This is the story of the size.
Putting aside Spike Mud, the size of the area is outside of the wild area, and there's the one route from, I think it's going south on Route 9, I think it is, where you have to go through the water area.
Yeah, I was gonna say that one felt larger.
That was like, this is how it used to be.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh my god, I gotta go and take this other turn to go get this Pokeball thing I see. I don't know what it's gonna be, but yeah.
Yeah, so that was a little bit disappointing, and Spike Mud just seemed lazy. Spike Mud, I think, had so much potential, because I really like the aesthetic and like the neon, but then it just seemed lazy.
Also, the Mushroom Town, whatever the name of that village was.
Balonlia. Yeah, the idea for Balonlia was so cool. It was so tight.
Bioluminescence and everything.
It was like 3 houses and that's it. You just go around once, find a thing, and then you just go challenge the gym leader.
Yeah.
Before we continue too far into this, should we set a point of what we can or can't talk about? Because I want to pretty much set it to everything. To me, in my head, I just want to talk about anything up to whoever played the least in terms of story and whatnot.
That's fair. I think that's fair. So I think that's you, Glenn.
Whoever's played through the least amount of story, despite the fact that I have 11 hours more gameplay.
I mean, you're just exploring. You're doing your thing, but yeah. So basically, now you're at the point where you have to get back to Motostoke, correct?
Yeah, I'm going back to Hammerlock. I thought.
Hammerlock. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, I'm literally I just loaded in. I'm standing in front of the thing, and I'm just gonna go and challenge.
That's Kaju, Nick. Get it together.
Yeah, no, isn't it Kabu?
Whatever, Nick. Get it together.
So okay,
I had Tyler, 3 of the 4 letters, right?
Yeah, no, Tyler, how's the game been for you?
Right, Nick Yell?
Yeah.
What?
How's the game been for you?
Well, for story reference, I'm currently at the point where I have all 8 of the badges, and I've done all the stuff that leads me right up to actually challenging the champion himself. Everything. Nick, that makes sense to you.
Yeah.
The problem is, though, I kind of wanted to do what I really like the most, and that's going on raids and then getting a bunch of candies. Raids? Because the Dynamax battles, the dens.
Oh, yeah. Just go to the wild area and do Dynamaxes.
Right. And I just call them raids because, you group up with people and you take down giant Pokemon.
Question for you guys, since you're further into the game. The Dynamaxing, that the raid is there when it shoots the light up. Yes?
Correct.
Yeah.
Now, I've only seen 2 colors of the different Dynamax raids. Are there more than 2?
No. So the red one is a normal Dynamax, and then the purple one is a max raid battle. So it's it's a chance for a stronger Pokemon to appear, and also for a Pokemon to have its Gigantamax form. So there are certain Pokemon have exclusive. A lot of it you're seeing with the gym leaders. A lot of the gym leaders, their Dynamax form for their key main Pokemon, those are the Gigantamax forms. So only certain Pokemon have Gigantamax forms.
That makes sense to me because up until a few days ago, I was kind of confused because I was like, well, I can Dynamax my Dreadmaw, but Dreadnought, but when I go into the den battle against Dreadnought, it has a much cooler bipedal form, and it's why can't mine just turns into Big Mama? This guy suddenly, but that makes sense. There's a difference between Dynamaxing and then Gigantamaxing. And honestly, I thought initially it was event Pokemon only, but it makes sense that you can get the Gigantamaxing form with the special Death Swirl, Calamity Ganon.
Yeah, I got
whatever you want to call it.
One.
I've even found them with the red beams too.
Oh,
really?
Yeah, I found them with red beams.
How do you know if they can
just
Dynamax even if they don't?
Yeah, what he said.
Source of power.
Wait, could you repeat that question?
You just said that there's
certain icon
it's
or something,
his Kroknar or whatever. It doesn't.
Yeah.
What is it called? Whatever it is.
My Kroknar?
Not Kroknar. The snapping turtle.
Oh,
one.
Dreadnought.
Yeah.
Yes, the second evolution of the second generation water starter.
Jojo.
Yep, it made it. I'm sorry. I'm
No, so like his, when he made it big, does not change form, but there is a version that does do that. How do you know when you're catching it that it will be able to have that different form?
I think you can only catch the Gigantamax Pokemons in the raids, in like the Dynamax battles. So, cause then you'll see their form there. I don't think you can find them in the wild. I'd have to confirm that, or you just have to hit up Cerebi, the guy's Joe Merrick, his name is, he's compiling all the information. But yeah, you can only, I'm pretty sure you can only find them in the raid battles. So because all Pokemon can Dynamax, but only certain Pokemon and certain individuals of the species that can Gigantamax can Gigantamax. So as Tyler mentioned, his Dreadnought cannot, but then there are Dreadnoughts that can Gigantamax.
So if I caught that raid level Dreadnought, is it Dreadnought or Dreadmaw? I always get mixed up.
Dreadnought?
If I caught that version and I just used it to replace the one I have in the party that I just caught regular in the wild, that one would, like, my new one would be able to Gigantamax instead?
Yes, correct. I think there is also an icon that distinguishes them. I'm pretty sure the Pikachu that you got, Tyler, it can Gigantamax.
Hell yeah, it can.
Yeah,
it turns into my Patronus, since I'm not allowed to say spirit animal, which is a super fat, chubby Pikachu.
Yeah,
that,
and I'm pretty sure there's like an X symbol or something.
Forms, so.
That when you get to a certain page, or you can see it somewhere. But yeah, there is I think there's an icon that differentiates a Gigantamax capable Pokemon. So with me, I have so let's talk about the link trades. So last week I raised some issues over the GTS. But then, you know, at the very least, they kept in the link trading. But the link trading is not as good as it used to be. In fact, they made it worse. So you cannot directly trade with a friend. You have to, when you decide to set up a link trade, you get a code, a 4-digit code. I think it's a combination of Pokemon that your friend has to enter to be able to connect to you. But then that code is not unique to you. So at any point somewhere in the world, somebody else could also get that code. So you just have to hope that you're connecting to the right person.
Yeah, with a 4-digit code. I mean,
if you're trading for something really important, like, that feels like a very insecure way to do that.
Including letters, I don't know how many, like, different combinations that can be. Let's say, hypothetically, 26,000 or something like that. There's still a lot more people than 26,000. You know, I know that's a bullshit number. Just humor me on this. Because, yeah, there's a good chance that somebody could easily, like, I'm sure that'll eventually die down as, you know, people stop playing. But still, the fact there's a chance and they're not using, like, a friends list system, that's kind of weird.
Yeah,
like,
you cannot directly connect to friends. Even us trying to connect to your, like, raid battles, Tyler, which you were trying to do because you can connect online. That was a challenge in and of itself. Like, there's the window, even though it gives you, 3 minutes to, like, look for people, the window of opportunity for me to join is very, very small. I don't know exactly what it is, but if I don't hit it right as you start, I'm not going to join.
Right, and there's been so many times where you look at your little, you know, Twitter feed of notifications of random people, and, like, I'll see, you know, it'll pop up and say, you know, max raid battle. I'm like, oh, shoot, you know, jump in on that bad boy. A communication error has occurred. You know, they don't need such and such, which either means it got filled, he started it instantly, or just bullshittery happened, and it's weird. Not to mention, if I even want to look to see if I have friends on the Nintendo Switch, it will make me disconnect from Pokemon Online just so I can go online with my Nintendo Switch. The fuck is up with that?
There are issues. As we talked about earlier, the size of the routes are disappointing to me. I feel like, again, like, there's so many... like, the depth of a lot of the cities is fantastic, but then the size of the routes is minimal. It's small. Like, you just get from one place to the other with no problem. And then I saw a few posts. Let me see if I can find it, but it was an interview with one of the developers. I hope I can find it. But basically, they admitted that they just imported a lot of the they imported a lot of the models.
Oh, really? Yes, yep, I saw that too.
No, from previous games, not even from Let's Go. They imported a lot of the models when their main argument for cutting out half the Pokemon in the Pokédex was we didn't have time and we wanted to work on animations. But then you look at Alcremie, and the number of different models that would have to exist for all the different combinations of Alcremie, because you have different colors, and like I think it goes up to 30 or 40 at least.
Alcremie, can you remind me what Pokemon that is?
It's the fairy type for the fairy gym leader, like her big thing that turns into a cake. So it comes from Milcery, I think that's what it's called, where you attach a certain thing. So how you evolve it is you attach a certain thing to it, and then you spin, and then you stop, and you have to do different variations of spin, because how long you run around affects how long you spin for, and then you'll get different...
Like mixing batter.
Yes, and you'll get different... basically, the logic being is you've got milk, and you've got cream, and you're whipping the milk to get cream, right? That's the baking logic.
And that is also alive and can fight.
Yeah, I mean, we've got Trubbish and Garbodor, so, you know, it's just, we have literal garbage in the game that can move.
Yeah.
So, and then it's been a pattern of lazy programming practices. When you look at Sun and Moon, there were 8 or 9 different copies of Lily, in all the cutscenes, and Lily is one of the supporting characters. There were 8 or 9 different copies of Lily on all the different cutscenes on all the different islands, because they didn't want to reuse the same model. They couldn't because of how bad the code was, so they just took the same character model and put it in all the different places. Apparently that was done to help with optimization of the game, because it was a cartridge and it was easier to do this rather than create a reference. This is like some of the programming language that I understand, but again, it's a pattern of bad practices. Then there was a professional audio engineer that broke down the first 15 to 20 minutes of the game, and he pointed out a lot of disappointing things. And the too long didn't read is basically Game Freak has been so used to developing for handhelds that this is the first time they've had so much power available to them that they didn't know what to do. They didn't know how to develop audio and a few other things for a console. Like,
is that true though? Because they had one chance to do that. A little game called My Little Town Hero, which also did the same exact problem. It was still, terrible, and, in the same ways that we're describing, except it's on a smaller scale and it's $20, so can you give them too much shit? Yes, I can, but...
Right, it just sounds like these are, like, the quality, it's like they were using 16-bit audio instead of using 32-bit audio because they didn't know any better, but also they didn't know that the speakers would be able to handle 32-bit audio. I mean, and that's a very simplified version of what happened, or what they did, or what he found to be the issue, but, there's just a whole list of issues with the game. Overall, it has been fun. The final champion battle, to me, was challenging because unlike you, Glenn, I didn't spend a lot of time roaming around the wild area. I just and I wasn't I wasn't diehard leveling my team either. Like, I was just playing the game and I was going along, not really exploring too much. And then I got to the end and it was like, this is kind of challenging. This was fun. It was actually fun. Like, he puts up quite a fight. He's undefeated for a reason, but it wasn't like...
I can Gigantamax all my Pokemon. I have no idea if that's true. Don't correct me if that's true, because that'd be bullshit, but who knows?
Maybe it's true.
He just has all legendary Pokemon. Like after everything's said and done, he somehow caught like those fucking legendary. Like,
what are the legendaries in this game? What are the legendaries in this game?
There's 2. There's the Shield Dog and the Sword Dog, and that's all I'm gonna tell you.
And
Zamazenta.
The guy on the box.
That's Zaxian, and then there's Zamazenta. Zacian, Zacian, Zamazenta is the other one.
Zacian.
Sword of Woo.
And a Shield of Woo.
Yeah.
And then there's other things, but Nick
you can get
said,
Mew if you get the Pokeball thing, like
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's how you get Mew.
I'm kind of upset, Nick, because I saw a Pokemon I didn't want to before I got far enough in the game. Because I did max raid battles. At level 5, it means almost everybody's going to join, which means some people are going to use certain Pokemon that, I'm like, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? And, I look and I'm like, that better not be what I think it is. And yeah, it turned out to be an important Pokemon, and it upset me that I saw it because I don't think I was supposed to know that yet.
Yeah, I've never been like that. I don't care. Like, I'll literally look up all the new Pokemon and plan my team, but I understand the disappointment there. And the last thing I wanted to mention before we cover our teams was people are already modding the game.
What?
People have...
You can do that?
Yeah, because this one's a lot easier to do than the DS cartridges. So one person spent an hour and has already updated the texture of the trees. Took him a fucking hour to update the texture of the trees. One person added an Omastar into the game, and all he had to do, he just plugged it over, I think, a different Pokemon's spine animation set, which basically is like the skeleton that does the animations, plugged it over that, and he was animated just fine. And he also had access to his Gen 7 dataset because all of that information is still there in the database. So essentially, you could bring in any Pokemon and you'd get access to all of their moves. So somebody did it with, I can't remember what Pokemon, but they bought in a Pokemon and took it to the move tutor or relearner, and he was able to teach it everything from its full Gen 7 dataset, learn set.
That's fucked, man.
So, Glenn...
Mod me Scizor.
Glenn, you were talking about how you spend a lot of your time, like, filling your Pokedex. I've literally lost all my motivation because I don't have to do that. I don't have to start from scratch. I don't have to, like, go from Charmander all the way to the end because I have all of them except for the 80 new Pokemon that they've included with this game. And if this is going to be the case moving forward, where more than half of the Pokedex is removed, like I said last week, I don't know if I'll be playing these games long term. Because my fun for the game has now been taken away for absolutely no reason except for pure greed and laziness, in my opinion.
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of Pokemon, but
I think it might be the opposite for me too, Nick. The only time I've ever completed a Pokemon or a Pokédex was, I believe, in Pokemon Red and Blue. Like, that's how far back I went, with the exception of Mew, because back then I didn't have access to that without, you know, and abusing a certain game glitch or otherwise game sharking it in. Right. But, yeah, fun fact, some people don't know this. You can get Mew in the game using a game glitch without actually using the game shark. And once I learned how to do that, that was amazing.
Oh, I thought you were talking about this game. I was like, I want Mew.
Oh, no, not this.
Mew is my favorite Pokemon. I love Mew.
You and me both, brother. But I guess my point is,
yeah,
I always wanted to be the guy that, you know, collected a shiny Pokemon. Because I've only ever gotten 2 shiny Pokemon in my life. One was that fucking red Gyarados everybody gets in gold and silver. And then just out of the blue one day, I managed to get a shiny Scyther. Which, you know, years later, you can imagine how excited I would have been. Except for the fact it was just a playthrough where I didn't have any friends, so I could never trade it. So I never got to see shiny Scizor back then. But it feels like lately these days with these, with Sun and Moon, with Let's Go, and then with this, shiny Pokemon appearing has now a better method of getting it than just dumb luck. So I figured this time around, you know, I'll start looking around because I'm going to eventually want to build a team, but I'm also, you know, want to try to go shiny hunting and all that stuff. And I started looking up to figure out, you know, different ways how you get shiny Pokemon. And there's a couple of things I've learned. The first thing is, there is 2 rarity levels of shiny in this game, which you got your regular shiny where it's, you know, a new color schematic typically for a Pokemon. Sometimes it's not very noticeable, like for example Alolan Vulpix is a joke with their shiny form because it's like just a slightly different shade of blue. It was very upsetting. But there is a so I think there's like a 1 in 2,000 or 1 in 4,000 chance to finding a shiny Pokemon just at the very base level. And then on top of that, there's I think it was a 1 in 15 chance, if that Pokemon is shiny, it will have what is called square or diamond shiny, where it will give off an extra special glow. So that means like a 1 in 50,000 chance. Like it's incredibly up there. And somebody like on Twitter posted a video about like the very first Pokemon they encountered, one of those fucking sheep Pokemon. What's it called?
Woodle or something?
Wooloo.
Wooloo.
A Wooloo. He fucking walks into the grass in the very first area, finds a Wooloo that is not only shiny, it's sparkly shiny. A 1 in 50,000 chance Pokemon, and it's his very first one. Like, what the fuck? But anyways, there's different ways to increase your chance of finding shiny Pokemon, and it's kind of similar to Let's Go, and it's kind of upsetting, actually. It's called chaining.
Mm-hmm. Kill the same thing over and over.
The nice thing is, in Pokemon Let's Go, I'm pretty sure you had to catch the Pokemon. Because in Let's Go, you couldn't really battle wild Pokemon unless they're legendary. But in here, you just simply got to beat the shit out of them. And so if you beat the shit out of the same Pokemon over and over without fighting any other Pokemon, like, you can run away from a Pokemon, but if you fight the same exact one, if you increase the number of... I think it's just if you knock it out. Well, I mean, I'd like to think that's synonymous to beating the shit out of, but sure, yes. if you spirit guardians every of the same type you see, and you just curb stomp them, if you, no matter even if it's in a chain or not, it'll increase the chance if you have a greater total with that number of Pokemon. So, you know, if over the times you've beaten the crap out of Pikachu 250 times and whatnot, it'll increase your chances. But you can chain up to, I think it's 32 times or some shit like that. And then that goes from like 4,000 to like 400 or something like that, 1 in 400. So, you know, it increases your chances quite a bit. And so I've been looking into doing that. There's also the Masuda method with breeding. And lastly, there is the shiny charm or whatnot that you get after you complete the Pokédex, which led to me saying this is probably my first time I feel motivated to complete the Pokédex so I could increase my shiny hunting chance.
And it's not like it's hard now because you can run into a lot of like the final evolutions that you would need to trade in the wild area. I will say, I know I said like the last thing I will say, but exploring the wild area was actually pretty fun. And it was a nice experience. And one of my favorite things, despite everything we've said, if you're playing the games or if you've been thinking about it, it's a fun game to play. As a Pokemon game, it's a fun game to play, but if you're a fan of the franchise and you're looking at the franchise long term, there are some disappointing things. But my greatest joy has been going through like my Twitter and Twitch and watching clips of people just freaking out and seeing like, you know, people who've never touched the game in so long and seeing like all these cute Pokemon that they wanted, or just like walking around and then, you know, they just started the game and have a fucking Beware just chase the fuck out of them and then they're just running away for their fucking
life.
Getting
to play fetch with the Corgi Pokemon and people streamers
like, yeah,
just,
Pokemon
like, dying. So cute.
It's like the happiness it's generated has made me happy in that sense, and I had a fun playthrough. And I'm just wrapping up some of the post game content. I'll eventually get to it. I think I'd like to think. But again, depending
just to
on
confirm,
yes,
is there a battle tower equivalent in this game?
There is. I don't know the full details of it, but there is.
Okay, it's just I saw there was a BP shop where they'll sell you special items for battle points. I was like, okay, I know what that means then.
All I will say about it, all that I've heard about it, is that it works on like a rank system now. So, and I don't know the details on that, and maybe I'll get around to it. But they're experimenting with it. But yeah, if you just want to play a Pokemon game to have fun, go ahead and get it. I just don't know unless I'll have to see what the next, because I don't know what they could give us. I know they'll give us arrow, axe, gun. I don't know what they could give us, depending on what's in the game and how they've addressed some of the things, will affect how I see the games going down the line. Do we want to list out our teams again?
Yeah, I think it's important, but
yes.
Okay, Tyler, why don't you take it away? Who have you decided to go this late into the game with?
So I'm not sure if this will come as a surprise to you, but I actually stuck with the same exact team as when I first started, before I got my first badge, mind you. This is how far back I've gone. And there, I'm doing some quick clearing of space because I realized I had like a gigabyte of space left and I didn't want to ruin my recording. Anyways, so I got Rillaboom, which is my grass starter. I have Dreadnought. I have Pikachu, Light Ball Pikachu.
Nice.
Because what I discovered between then and now is Glenn, if you remember what I'm talking about last episode, Nick and I said if we had a Pokemon Let's Go save file on our game, it'll hand us an Eevee or a Pikachu for free, giving on, you know, what save file we had.
Yeah.
So I had the Let's Go Pikachu, and in return, they gave me a Pikachu that could not evolve. So, you know, I was excited to get my Ninetales and my Raichu, but I couldn't evolve Pikachu. So I was a little bit bitter at that because, you know, Pikachu's great and all, but I love Raichu. Like, I love Raichu. You know, there's no way around that. And so I got the Thunderstone, realized I couldn't evolve it, and I was like, okay, time to go hunting for a motherfucking Pikachu. So I spent about an hour finding a Pikachu, and I finally found one. Like, it shouldn't have been that hard, just bad luck or looking or lollygagging or whatnot.
It's got a pretty low catch or encounter chance, though.
I finally caught it, and when I looked at it, it was carrying an item called the Light Ball. And it's a Generation 2 onwards item, so I'm not sure how well you know about it, but it's a very special item with a 5% chance of appearing on a Pikachu. Like, it's pretty special. When a Pikachu holds it, its special attack and attack is doubled. which means if you want to keep Pikachu instead of Raichu, the stats on the Pikachu actually be higher than Raichu in attack and special attack, but its defense, special defense is lower. So, like, it's a great sweeper, but it's as sweeper as it gets. Like, it's it either one-shots or gets one-shot kind of situation. So it's like, if I can have a Pikachu that can Gigantamax and have the Light Ball, do I really want to Raichu? And so I said, fuck it, I'm gonna go Light Ball Pikachu for my run. And it was fun. I had a good time with it, and it served me well all the way to the end so far. So anyways, just say the whole team. Dreadnought, Pikachu, Rillaboom, Ninetales, Obstagoon, and Corviknight. Corviknight's my MVP.
Nice. What about you, Glenn? Who have you decided to go with?
I also have Corviknight because I ran into him in the wild area early on, and he, like, while I was trying to run away and it wouldn't let me, he, like, one-shot half my team. So I was like, oh my god, this is a cool Pokemon. And then I find out it's like a dark steel fly type. It's like crazy cool, and so I love the design. I love Corviknight. Gardevoir,
it's like the new Skarmory.
Yeah,
but better.
Gardevoir, the lady Ralts. She's really good. I really like Psychic Fairy type is kind of my favorite right now. Which works
nice.
with my, apparently in Shield you have a 1% chance of running into an Eevee, and I did. And then she evolved without me giving her a stone. The fuck?
Yep.
I don't know why, but she turned into a fairy type Sylveon, and I like Sylveon a lot. It's cute as hell. Wait,
so
do you guys know why that happened?
So,
oh yeah.
Eevee has, so Flareon, Vaporeon, Jolteon, Leafeon, and Glaceon all evolve via stones.
Which is freaky now because you have to level it up near a glacier.
Yeah,
or moss stone.
Yeah, so Leafeon and Glaceon, you had to be in a specific area. For Glaceon, you had to be near an icy stone, and for Leafeon, you had to be near a mossy stone, and then level them up there, and then they'd evolve into Leafeon or Glaceon. But then they changed it in this game to using stones, which is fine. And then Umbreon and Espeon. Umbreon evolves max happiness in day, Espeon max happiness at night, and then Sylveon is Sylveon is max friendship. No, max
friendship,
affection.
and it has affection, and it has to know a fairy type move.
Yes.
So she loved me.
Basically,
that's why she
loved
turned
you,
into a Sylveon. Oh my god, that makes me so happy.
You probably had like baby doll eyes or something like that taught on Eevee, or it knew it at the time. So you met the right criteria, and so you got the hardest to obtain version of Eevee, which is Sylveon, and my favorite. Yeah,
it was the hardest to obtain when it first came out in X and Y because you had to do a lot of work. But I guess they made it easier.
I do play fetch with her a lot, so.
See, that makes sense. That would have built up the... Yeah, I mean, it's so much fun to you just sit there for like an hour to easily just play with them.
This is something maybe you guys can explain to me too. Like, every once in a while, it's like either my Pokemon are giving me shade or they're just being needy. And so like, they're like, you know, it's like they're worried about their ability to battle. And I'm like, does that mean I'm supposed to do something different? Like...
It's especially mostly flavor text.
What? No, it's mostly flavor, yeah.
Okay, good. Because I was like especially if I, have the max friendship with my Pokemon, I don't know what else I can do. I make these guys curry all the fucking time.
So, Glenn, what they do is, I'm sure you noticed throughout the game, it'll ask a bunch of random questions every now and then. It doesn't really seem like and they'll take that as a survey to determine, like, traits about you. In this case, it looked like you got the insecurity trait, and so it got passed on to your Pokemon. So when you interact, you know how Pokemon tend to act like they're masters? Mm-hmm. They incorporated that into the camp, and that's what happened.
My Pokemon are needy because I was? Oh, God.
He's being a piece of shit. None of that is true.
I'm being a piece of shit.
Basically, once you get your affection up to a certain point, it's like they're friends, and so they're just telling you how they feel. They're just a little bit more open.
Like it's like they're waiting for you to give them an order. In comment, I'm like, I haven't had a chance to click the
one cool
yet.
thing about that is when you get with camp, you get their affection up to max. There'll be things like even if they don't have a focus sash, which is an item where they'd hold on if it was a move that would have killed them immediately, one hit them, or if they have the ability Sturdy, which is also the same as a focus sash except it's a Pokemon ability. Sometimes if your affection's high enough, if it's a move that's about to one hit them, they'll just hold on because they're like, I'm trying hard for my trainer. I can't remember what the flavor text is, but they'll hold on. Sometimes they'll shake off status conditions. Very rarely. These are not things that happen often, but yeah, that's
I'm a great Pokemon
cool
trainer. That's cool. No, I like that.
Tyler, you're muted.
Especially having grown up with, Yellow.
Yeah.
Where it was just like, hey, this is a Pokemon. You're gonna kill things with it until it's strong enough to kill the other things.
So what's the so we have a Corviknight, Gardevoir, Sylveon.
Then Hatterene. I don't know, is that how you say that? Hatterene, Haunter, because what? Haunter, and then Golurk, because what I've been doing with the back half of my set is trying to keep a little bit of balance, but also whenever I find a Pokemon that I want to, evolve because of shared XP, I usually just throw them in those last 3 spots. So like Haunter, I did find out from you guys earlier, I'm gonna have to trade to get my Gengar, or I can find one in the wild area, but I even opted for getting a Ghastly and then training it, and then leveling it up. So like,
yeah,
I'm kind of wary. Like, I caught a Haunter before I had that Ghastly evolved, but I like the idea of investing in specific Pokemon.
100%. I understand that.
Bothered me a little bit, despite the fact that I played the hell out of it. So like,
I understand that more than anybody. Well, I mean,
I'm getting my jollies like doing this. It's so much fun.
Even with like the broken system, we'll help you out.
If I trade it to you, can I trade it back? Or like, because is that a thing?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. We're not assholes.
Because in Go, that's a thing. In Go, you can't. You trade it once and that's it. It's gone.
Yeah.
It can only be traded once, so I didn't know if that was a thing in this. Ignorance is bliss.
Nope.
I also have a really strong Gyarados and my Cinder Rabbit, whatever it is. They're both really strong, but like I said, I'm building and filling up the Pokedex. Cinderace, that's it. It's the fire
you can call it whatever you want, I guess. Yeah.
Scorbunny, Reboot, and then Cinderace.
Cinderace. I like Cinderace. Cinderace is really cool. I'll probably bring him back in. I think all of my Pokemon are like 46 or higher for the most part. So like, I think I'm probably ready for endgame shit. 46.
Oh, yeah, you should be fine.
Most of them are like low 50s, low to mid 50s though. So
I got my problem is though, since I did nothing but Dynamax battling because I love the shit out of it, and I've been using all the candy. My Pokemon are sitting in mid 70s right now. Like, yeah, that's
even I'm not that high.
I love Dynamaxing. What can I say? And it's like, do I not use all this free candy that I got to level up my Pokemon, or do I just say fuck it? And yeah, so my Pokemon are like 20 levels above what my opponents are, which means I can brute force even with not very effective sweepers. It's been fucked.
Yeah. So my team is the same as last week. I said last week that I'd pretty much assembled my final team. So I've got a Rillaboom, a Centiskorch, a Dreadnought, a Surf HD, and now with the Surf HD, the first one that I caught, it did not come with the leak. And the leak is an item specifically for the Farfetch'd line that greatly, massively improves the critical hit ratio. Like to the point where almost every other move is a critical hit. So Surf HD has been a very strong player on my team. So
say Surfetched.
I know.
You're with the Surfetched.
I know, but I'm still saying it because this is how I've said it since I was a kid, and it's how I'm gonna say it.
Can you say it with the apostrophe then? Surfetched apostrophe D?
No, that's too much. It's a mouthful.
Technically, in D&D, it's not Bahamut, it's Bahamut. So we've all been saying it wrong. But I will never say it right because I like the way I say it.
And I also I like the way it's Farfetch'd
so I feel you.
Surfetch'd. So yeah. So Rillaboom, Centiskorch, Dreadnought, Surfetch'd, Toxtricity, where you get a voxel from
Surfetch'd's nuts.
Sir, fetch D's nuts, please.
No, Toxtricity, yeah, you get the baby Pokemon. He's so
cute. You get Voxel. Voxel is pretty useless until it evolves, and so it's a little bit of a struggle.
He was in my party until very recently.
Toxel,
now
maybe,
he's got a lot of fucking swag.
Yeah. So with Toxtricity, depending on its nature, it evolves. It has 2 forms that don't really affect stats, but it just has 2 forms. And
you got Toxtricity too?
Yeah, it's a hard hitter. No, so it has two forms. It's the same Pokemon. It's just the nature determines how it looks. That's it. So one's an amp form and one's a low-key form. So with the amp form...
It could, like, change its personality and then it would look different?
No, so every Pokemon is given a personality trait, right?
A nature.
Right. A nature. So based on its nature, how it looks... how toxicity looks changes. So there's an amp form and a low-key form. The amp form has like a yellow mohawk, and the low-key form has like a faux hawk or like a mullet, but it's blue. But otherwise, the base form looks the same.
Okay. And fix confusion, I think what's going on here, Glenn, you can't change their nature, so whatever form you have, it's permanent like that.
That one.
So,
yeah.
That's the amp form, isn't it?
Yes, that's the amp form, and then there's a low-key form, which looks like that, except the hair, or whatever it looks like the hair, is blue.
Okay.
But there's no stat differences. It's just
mine is
superficial. Yeah, and then a Grimmsnarl. And I really like Grimmsnarl. And I didn't want to say too much about Grimmsnarl. So it goes Impidimp, Morgrim, and then Grimmsnarl.
Oh! I've got one of those too.
And I'll tell you why, Tyler, specifically, you'll understand this. I really like Grimmsnarl because it reminds me of Bayonetta. Maybe you won't understand this. Do you know why Grimmsnarl looks like that?
No, I don't.
Because as it evolves, its hair grows longer, and then Grimmsnarl has its hair cover its body. That's why it looks so buff.
Those aren't muscles.
Really?
It's hair, not muscle. Yeah.
Ah. I understand the Bayonetta reference now. It's just like I was thinking of, because even watching Grimmsnarl when it Gigantamaxes in a fight, yeah, I can see that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So once it
looks like a fucking superhero at that point.
Once it wraps its hair around its body, it has strength enough to like rival Machamp. So it's kind of like an exosuit that it like, this is lore wise, that it's kind of like an exosuit it just puts on, like wraps around itself. And one of its moves is false defeat, I think it's called, where it never misses. It's a base 80 dark move. It's a physical move. And the flavor text is pretends to give up and then does damage with its hair.
Sounds like my attack, actually.
It's like from the beginning of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Now I'm suddenly thinking of like one scene from the original Dragon Ball at the end where it's the evil King Piccolo versus Goku. Piccolo is dead on the ground, and he just suddenly lurches upright and shoots a beam from his mouth to shoot through Goku's chest, and it's like, that's just what it reminds me of. Anyways, so we have an issue here. Once again, we successfully managed to talk almost the entire episode about one game, which is okay, it's Pokemon.
Totally fine
do
with
we
it.
want to keep all of this, or do we want to cut any of these sections here?
I think we'll carry forward this, Tyler, and we'll just do this. We'll do the topic of the show because I think this is more pressing.
Pretty simple.
It's
pretty simple too.
It's time sensitive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so just to make sure, we're cutting the mod and we're doing the tots, or are we cutting the tots and doing the mod?
Cutting the mod, doing the tots. Okay. We'll just carry forward the mod, the same as last week. Sorry, Glenn.
It's okay. It's good. I think it's worth it. I'm okay talking more about Pokemon and skipping a few things.
All right, Tyler, do you want to tell us about this?
Good job.
Because this is your topic of the show.
I can tell you about the Masuda method, but
please God, no.
Glenn's giving me the look. So this is technically a U.S. centric topic of the show. So anybody who's overseas or whatnot, are Canada, like, despite us being a Canadian stream for legal purposes, this is still an American-based topic of the show that hopefully you can get your own equivalent of, but I figured we should talk about it.
Listen to our
Black Friday. Yeah, Black Friday is going to be this week, guys. You got Thanksgiving the next day. Like, it's weird how much people stuff themselves full of turkey only to lurch themselves up at 4 o'clock in the morning so they can arm themselves for a civil battle, essentially. Get hot deals. They buy that Iron Maker that they never wanted, but it's only $20, so it's like, I gotta fight you to the death now, I guess. Yeah, I guess I'll die. And it's like, first off, why? But second off, that's not limited to that waffle maker. It's video games too. So, my question for us guys, is it ever worth the hassle to go for something video game related?
Well, I mean, the nice thing about Steam is that Steam will also, like, Steam's got a few discounts going on right now. So if you're a PC player and if you if you can stand not having all your games physical, definitely scope out some of the deals that Steam and any of the other game launchers might throw at you. Yeah, like it really depends on what you want.
Like, I was gonna say, like, Omen and a lot of like the streaming services and different technology that gamers use do like Black Friday sales, which means you don't have to wait in a line. You just order a thing on the internet.
Up, yo. Isn't it supposed to be Cyber Cyber Monday?
Yeah,
well, yeah, but they just not follow the legality of the corporate regime? What the hell?
Yeah, I mean, they do. Yeah, there's sales on the internet. Why would I go?
Yeah, but the issue with that is, though, actually going to a store on Black Friday, what they tend to do is, because they're buying all these products wholesale, right? So their margin of profit is, you know, the retail price is substantially higher. So they're able to drop it to like more than 50%, but you're not going to get a lot of those deals online, right?
True.
Online at most, you're probably going to see 50%, but if you go to a store, you might see something 75% off, which is what they're hoping to, how they're hoping to poach people. So if you really want to buy a new console, put on your war face. It's go time, folks.
Is what store is doing?
We're all soldiers
sale
now.
Well, the last time store that shall not be named?
Wait, what store shall we not name? I feel like there's a lot of them.
The console sale.
I don't know specifically. I was just saying that like you're probably going to find a really good deal if you were to go into a store on Black Friday. So I wouldn't be able to name you any stores, because for me here, I've done Black Friday in a mall here in Vancouver, and for me, that mall was just as busy as a weekday night back home in Dubai, and we have like huge malls and like huge amounts of people, and for me it was like, it was a breeze. But then I've seen videos of Black Friday in the States.
People get trampled.
And I wanna not do, like, just don't do that.
It's like the Hunger Games, essentially. It's just like a test, like they're beta testing for Purge, essentially.
I don't want to fight somebody over a 32-inch HD TV. Like, that's not... But it's a $15... Yeah, I'm a human being. Here, you can take it. You grabbed it first. It's no big deal. That's like...
No, and then like, no, fuck you. You didn't fight for it. I didn't feel like I earned this.
Yeah.
You need to fight for it so that I can pay less for it, and I can take it away.
Ground. You do battle to me right now.
It just bothers me.
He pulls out like brass knuckles.
Yeah.
I spent $8 on another Black Friday sale for these. I need to put them to use. Vindicate me. So
people have died for these things. Literally gotten trampled to death over what? A cheap smart bulb? You know, a cool Bluetooth headset? Wow, good for you. If somebody died for that Bluetooth headset, feel better? Human life is less than consumerism. Yeah, no, I'm not a big fan of Black Friday. If I can get something online for cheaper because it's Black Friday, I'm all about it. But I'm never gonna go. I mean, there are certain things I'll wait in line for, like video game midnight releases. Yeah, I'll go hang out and wait for that so I can play it early. But I'm not gonna, like, stand in line in the cold and trample over people to get, you know, cheap stuff. We already have too much stuff, you know? In my opinion. That's just me.
That's absolutely fair. The last time I went on a Black Friday sale, it was at a Walmart because... Shocker, I worked for Walmart. Like, I was a Walmart truck driver. So I delivered to Walmarts, then this one Walmart, it happened to be like 1 o'clock or whatever in the morning on Black Friday. So, you know, it kind of worked out in my favor. And lo and behold, there was a bunch of deals going on in the video game section. But to date it, there's 3 games I managed to get on, like, incredibly cheap. Destiny with the Taken King expansion, Splatoon for the Wii U, and Outlast, I believe it was, or some other, you know, fucking game. But yes, it's been a minute since I've done actual Black Friday shopping. On the plus side, doing that one day allowed me to A, realize I didn't want to ever play Destiny, the first one at the very least, but B, I had a copy of Splatoon sitting in my thing, sealed for like a year and a half. No, years. Until one day I finally played it. I wish I could remember who it was. I want to say it was Nick in the chat I played it with. I think it was, yeah. I played it with Nick. We wanted to play something, so we popped out our Wii U's, dusty as hell, and popped in Splatoon 1 when Splatoon 2 is out. And we fired it up, realized, this is actually fun. What the fuck? And so we bought Splatoon 2, and then we jumped in on it. And it was so great.
And it was cheap.
But, yeah, it was cheap. It was like $20 when you think of a first-party Nintendo game, even with a new console on the way, it's like, yeah, it was cheap. Anyways, was there any games or stuff in the link that like caught your eye that looked like, hey, this could be interesting kind of situation?
Nothing specific, but I see some like GameStop's offering some really good deals on like consoles and stuff, so you guys have been thinking about upgrading. I see here Gears 5 for the Xbox One's at $30, which is nice because Steam's offering also 50% off on Gears 5, and I'm about to pick it up because I haven't picked it up yet, and I love the Gears of War series, and I said I would, but I never got around to it, and I feel bad, so I'm finally about to do that.
Oh, quick warning for anybody that is interested in the VR. They consider that a system. PlayStation VR is a system. So if you get it, you can't return it unless it's actually defective. So I tried to return it.
Shake it really hard.
And they were like, nope, this is a system. I was like, oh, really? I can play this without connecting it to anything? It's an independent system? That's how you're telling me this is? Or do I need my PlayStation 4 Pro that cost me another $400 sitting at my house? And they're like, yeah, but... And I'm like, then how is it a fucking system, man? Anyway, just be aware before you buy that they will consider it a system. If you don't love it, you can't bring it back as soon as you open it unless it's defective. So...
Not to argue semantics, but since Nick loves to, I will too. You don't need a PlayStation 4 to use the PSVR if you don't want to.
Well, no, yeah, you can use it as a viewing mechanism for anything with an HDMI port, but...
I successfully was able to use it, like, properly on the computer before, which Nick, didn't we do, like, an episode where I just watched the entire thing in PlayStation VR?
Yeah, yes. I'm pretty sure we did.
The VR episode. That was bullshit. But yeah, what you said also, Glenn, was bullshit. It's not a console. Fuck them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got a 5-game bundle for PSVR right now on GameStop that's going to be going on sale for $200. So, $200 for a VR headset seems like a hot deal anyways, because I believe that also comes with the camera. Plus 5 fucking games. I'm pretty sure I paid either $300 or $400 for the VR headset without the camera. So the idea that it's coming with all that stuff seems like a pretty hot deal. Nick in the chat's asking if there's controllers. It doesn't show anything in the pictures, so I'm gonna guess no.
For the VR?
Yes. I'm pretty sure.
It actually does. It has the move sticks right there.
In the $199 bundle?
This one says $250.
You're looking at the one to the right of it. Okay.
Yeah. Because otherwise it's not actually coming... The PSVR 5-game bundle doesn't actually come with the headset. It just comes with games. It looks like it just comes with games.
It's a 5-game bundle for $200, but for $250
5
you
games
get...
and the camera. Yeah.
Wait, did I just get misled?
I mean, it doesn't have it in the picture.
Oh no, Tyler.
That's true. No, I mean, I'm good, but I'm worried other people are going to see that and assume, oh, that it says PlayStation VR, that must mean it comes with it.
But you spend another $50 and you get 2 games, a camera, and 2 move sticks and the headset. So, I mean, you're giving up 3 games for $50, but you get the headset and the full VR thing. So, it is a little misleading for sure. The 5-game PlayStation VR bundle would tell me this is not PlayStation VR. This is a 5-game bundle of PlayStation VR games. So I agree.
Hey, Zelda's only $40 on Black Friday, Nick.
Yay, time for me to get it now, finally, when it's on fucking sale. Alright, cool.
Get it, buddy.
In a different country,
it's new.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Nice. Yeah.
Alright.
You can get Anthem for $5? Oh my god.
Why don't they just... Do you get the $5 or do you gotta pay the $5?
I think they gave you the $5.
Okay.
They better give you $5
so excited
when you buy
about that
game.
fucking game. I wanted
Glenn, if it helps, it probably doesn't help. If it helps, they're planning a full overhaul for Anthem.
Yeah, I've heard about that. I don't know if it's gonna save it though. We'll see. I can hope. I love the aesthetic. I enjoy the story.
I love the idea.
The gameplay is fucking good. It's just like I was so sad.
Nothing else particularly stands out for me, because I think we're in the phase of transitioning over to the new gen, so there's not going to be a lot of the newer games that are going to be on sale too much. But this is a good time to get a few like bundles or discounts on like a Switch Lite if you wanted, or to pick up a Nintendo Switch. I'm not one to tell you how to spend your money, but unless you really wanted to play a specific game, I'd hold off on buying a new console if you didn't already have a console, because we're a year out from, you know, what's it called, Project Scarlet for the Xbox and the PS5.
Nintendo doesn't have one though, do they?
Not that we know of. I doubt they're going to put out a Switch next year. It'll
so if you want to get a Switch, after. That's okay.
Yeah, no, you're good.
But don't get a PlayStation or an Xbox.
We're probably getting the new Legend of Zelda next year, because it's a game that's based on Breath of the Wild, like the assets from Breath of the Wild. So I suspect that they'll do it pretty quick. So let's see what happens with that.
It looks like though, I mean, gaming accessories too, because Best Buy's doing a HyperX gaming sale, up to 40% on like accessories.
Gaming accessories, yeah, this is a good time.
That's really cool.
This is actually, that's a good point. Gaming accessories is independent of the consoles, so if you wanted to jump on some of those deals, go right ahead.
Yeah. I mean, there's also for anybody who wanted to make the jump like I did, it's a little late in the game, but if you want to get a PS4 Pro finally and not pay $400, even though it should have dropped at this point, but you know, I'm not Sony. It's only $300 plus it's Glacier White, and you also get a $25 coupon.
Guys,
and something I want to point out that seems
No, he's fine. Let me go. I keep trying to interrupt, and I just need to wait. I need to be patient.
And I'm sorry. Another thing that's throwing me off is they're also advertising the Nintendo Switch Lite turquoise for $200, which is the same price it was.
Yep.
Huh. Yep. Anyways, Glenn.
First off, I was unaware that Joy-Cons were so excessively expensive to buy. I know they can be small controllers for party games, but $80 for a pair of Joy-Cons is rough. So those are actually $20 off right now, which is cool because that's about the price of a normal controller. But also for us that are playing Pokemon, the Pokeball Plus is $30 off of the $50 price tag. So that's a free thing to walk Pokemon, gain friendship, and you get Mew. So that's kind of cool for $20.
It's not a bad price, actually.
Len, just so you know, it's been throwing me off that you've been saying that they've been $80, but on Amazon, they're like averaging 65, 66 by Nintendo.
Oh, really? I mean, I only had reference when I got mine because I had to trade my console in, so I had to go to the stop of games. And they were like at $80 for the cheapest ones there.
The most expensive one I see so far is the red ones from a Japan import for $78, also by Nintendo Prime. So
yeah, I don't know.
I guess maybe the prices dropped, but Walmart's fucking archaic about keeping prices up. Like, you can get a copy of Sims 2 for PC there, you know, a game that's been out. It's probably older than all my pets' ages combined, and it's still like, you know, $30-40 because, you know, why not? So that does make sense, and I apologize for that.
Yeah. No, it's just I only had frame of reference on the GameStop prices too. So
an Xbox One S for only $149?
Jeez, that's cheap as hell for an Xbox One S.
All digital edition? Say what? NTY? No, thank you.
You can get an Xbox. You get an Xbox One X with Gears 5 and a $40 gift card for $350. Oh my god, that's so cheap. That's like $600 worth of stuff.
You could scroll like past the GameStop and you start seeing like a little bit of like the old paint where, you know, the scratches are, because I'm seeing some weird shit. Like there's one for this place called BJ's where it's a regular PlayStation 4 with a Fortnite Neo Versa bundle for only $300, which is the same price as a PlayStation 4 at this rate, which is, you know, it's like
they're just trying to get business.
You can get Fortnite. It's like cool. Fortnite.
I love PlayStation Plus for a year for $35. That's always an amazing deal. That sort of thing. Don't spend $15 every 3 months. Anyway.
So I think that's a good place to wrap things up. Black Friday is coming up. Be aware. Keep an eye out for certain deals, but try to be safe, please. Video games aren't worth dying over. And we're gonna move on to game releases, and we really only have one this week. Slow week, and this is something called Where the Water Tastes Like Wine, coming out November 29th for the PS4.
Is this a religious game?
For the PS4, Xbox One, PC. It is an adventure game developed by Dim Bulb Games and Serenity Forge. It came out for the Mac OS, Linux, and Windows, February 2018, and I'm guessing this is just the console release.
PC.
So mine scratched the PC there. It's a narrative adventure game about traveling, sharing stories, and surviving.
In the Great Depression era.
That's interesting. Yeah.
That is interesting. Yeah. Players explore a Great Depression era United States, hearing and collecting oral stories and passing them along. Stories are used as a form of progression, with characters gradually opening up to the player in response to the provided stories, which in turn allows one to learn their true stories. Players may purchase goods to replenish his hunger or tiredness, with money being earned and then spent on the aforementioned goods, or in faster means that, like, this is getting real generic real quick. Yeah, it's a single player adventure.
And that's really it for game releases this week. So moving on to This Day in Gaming, November 25th, and it also seemed like it was pretty slow. So we've got a few oddities here. Starting off with the first one, Max Payne 2: The Fall of Max Payne came out for the Xbox, the original Xbox, in 2003. So that is now 16 years ago, and this was one of those games that I spent watching my cousin play because I was too young to play them myself because it was all blood and gore, but it was okay for me to watch him play them. And honestly, the story, what?
I was just gonna say happy birthday, but go ahead.
No, just with Max Payne 1 and 2, like the story was what really drew me into the game, and some of the mechanics. I tried playing Max Payne maybe a couple of months ago, maybe late last year, and it didn't age well. Like controls wise, it was just super janky and clunky. But
right,
yeah,
I had the same feeling with ODST. I popped that in earlier this year, thinking I'll play some Halo, but no, that hasn't aged.
Yeah, and no, it's it needs an update for sure. So yes, happy 16th birthday to Max Payne 2. Next on the list, we've got something that I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, this threw me off. Like, I thought this was trolling at first, because I thought this anime that the game is based off is fairly new.
Apparently
this
not.
Is suggesting,
no, Jojo.
This is suggesting something very different.
Yeah,
it is so extra. I can't watch it.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure for the Dreamcast in 1999.
20 years old. Holy shit!
This was its Japanese release, and this is a fighting game made by the same team that did Street Fighter 3 at the time.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
And so, looking through this game and the history behind it, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure had an original anime run between 1999 and 2003. And then everything that we're seeing now are adaptations of the different arcs and some of the light novels. And so it started, everything we're seeing now started in about 2012, but the original anime had its run in the late 90s.
So we're watching basically, and hopefully the Brotherhood version, hopefully.
Something like that, but I think it's just...
Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah, I think they just...
how it should have been done.
How it should have been done. Oh my goodness.
Hey, don't you want an alternative era in World War II for a movie? That did not exist in the manga?
I don't want to talk about it.
Full Metal Alchemist.
But yes, happy 20th birthday to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure that came out for the Dreamcast in 99. Tyler, I'm assuming you added this on here?
Yep. It's not a gaming thing. Well, technically it is, I'd like to think.
I think it's
a legit birthday. So, for those who don't know, Horonobu Sakaguchi is the creator of Final Fantasy, and as of Monday, 11/25, it's his birthday. And so, happy... he's what?
57.
Yeah, okay. I think he said 87. I'm like, yeah, 57 years old.
So what's really awesome here is on our show notes, when we do This Day in Gaming, we do the name of the game, and then in brackets, we do the console and the year. And so when Tyler put this down, he put, for the console, his mom, and then the year of birth. And I just wanted to appreciate that for a minute, because that's, if you think
she is his origin. That's fantastic.
Right, so I think that's gonna do it for the show. Next week, hopefully, we won't have as much to rant about Pokemon. I know I'm certainly done talking about Pokemon unless somebody wanted to ask us about it or ask me about it. Good game if you're just looking to have fun. Beyond that, doubtful about its future. But Tyler, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at 2timestyler. But more importantly, Glenn, where can we find you?
Oh, you can find me on Twitch at Razeth, Raezeth, and also on Twitter at Glenn Houston, 2 N's, looks like Huston.
Yep, you can go ahead and add him and ask him what his prescription level is for his glasses. Where can we find you, Nick?
You can find me on Twitch and Twitter and Instagram at LR11. On Twitter, I'm LR the 11th. And you can also find the show, Casual Master Quest, on Twitter at MasterQuestPod. You can also email us at casualmasterquest@gmail.com. And then if you just type in Casual Master Quest, Facebook, Instagram, and everywhere you can find podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, I don't know if we're on Anchor, I doubt we're on Anchor, Luminary, just fucking whatever you use to listen to Spotify, just fucking slap our name there and it will pop up. And then just hit that subscribe, follow us, because we just fun, stupid shit every now and then. You can also find our Discord. If you go to our Twitter, at MasterQuestPod, you'll have a link to all of our stuff everywhere.
Hell yeah.
And D&D.
Also, we don't ever ask this, but if you feel like it's time for you to review us to see whether or not we got the stuff, feel free to. I mean, you don't have to, keep enjoying our shit, but, if you got iTunes, it's just sitting right there, go ahead and give an honest review. Even if you tear us down, I prefer you not to, but I'd rather have honest than say, if you give us a 5-star, we'll read you on the podcast because, you deserve the appreciation. No, you deserve the appreciation just for being a part of us and watching us improve and grow anyways.
Yeah, but we do this for you guys.
That's just an opinion.
Yes, and then the last thing that we have is a D&D podcast called Casual Quest Masters, that is DM'd by our own Glenn right here. So that's currently in the Casual Master Quest feed. So Casual Quest Masters, it's a live action D&D podcast, and it is good. It is fun. It's always a good time.
You say he's the DM, but he's totally the AM. He is the ambush master.
It's gonna be a good time.
Sure, I'm not the PM. Because
I'm
awake at night.
any last words? For, like,
you gonna pull the fucking trigger on me or what? Any last words, fellow members?
I'll be back.
I'll be Mozart.
Because of school stuff, I will not be here next week, so please enjoy my two lovely friends here, Tyler and Glenn, as they discover themselves and with you on air. But thank you very much for listening to episode 76 of Casual Master Quest. Have a good week. Happy Black Friday. Be safe. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, folks. Happy Thanksgiving. Please enjoy yourself. Don't fight with family.
Thank you for loving me. Thank you for having me.
But don't forget,
everyone's thinking
to never stop the grind.
The whole world's thinking.
Have a good week.
Turkey's dead. Hero killed turkey. The intro to the podcast, titled Casual Master Quest, was paid for and produced by the wonderful talent Revelries Music. You can find more of their work at soundcloud.com/Revelries Music, or just click on the link in the show descriptions. The background music is the album Top 50 Best Classical Piano Music by Brilliant Classics. You can find out more about Creative Commons at www.creativecommons.org/license/by/4.0.